Hey, welcome back to Appalachian Cemetery Hunting. Today's going to be our 9th video on the cemeteries in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. Today, however, we'll be in Blount County instead of Sevier County, and we'll be looking at the Eusebia Cemetery, which is next to the Presbyterian Church of the same name. The word Eusebia means godliness. Here's the church sign and a view of the cemetery. And this is an obelisk dedicated to the memory of Revolutionary War veterans that are buried here. Here's a roadside sign, a historical marker, talking about the founding of the church and the cemetery. And I'm going to pause you to give you time to read it. Now, this cemetery was established in 1785. The map shows the cemetery being located in the Prospect community, which is south of Knoxville. So I'm going to give you time to look at that also. Now, there's 1,141 people buried here. So due to so much rich history in this one cemetery, we decided to choose those who have some information about them that we could find. And this is not to disrespect all the other people here, by no means, but we're also going to divide this cemetery into several videos. Of course, we'll always recognize all of our veterans no matter when they passed away. So get comfortable. Bear with us. Let's get started. The first one we have here is John A. Armbruster, 1842 to 1898, and his wife Nancy Jane McTeer Armbruster, 1845 to 1923. And according to our source on Find a Grave, he fought in the Civil War, but we don't know which side. Next is John Black. Now, he was born in 1755, died in 1813, and he fought during the Revolutionary. He was in the Battle of Kings Mountain and also the Battle of Augusta. And we also have a Joseph Black Sr., 1747 to 1825. And he was a patriot, pioneer, judge, and a soldier. He established Black's Fort, later becoming Abington, Virginia. That's cool. And with others drafted with the Constitution of Tennessee. He served our nation in the American Revolution as a captain in the Virginia militia. See, I told you there's some rich history in this video. So, it's amazing. Next, we have Andrew Bogle Sr. We don't have his birth date, but his death date is 1812. Now, we have another Andrew Bogle Sr., and it's 1753 to 1813. And these are his first two headstones. And this is a photo of his military headstone. He served in the Cumberland County, Pennsylvania militia during the Revolutionary War. Then we have Eleanor Williams Bogle, 1775 to 1852. Elizabeth, or also known as Eliza Campbell Bogle, 1748 to 1845. Hugh Bogle Sr., 1780 to 1852. And here we have James E. Bogle, 1915 to 2001. He served in the U.S. Army during World War II and received the Purple Heart for being wounded in combat. Next, we have Jean Jane McIntyre Bogle, 1734 to 1797. John Bogle, no birth date, passed away in 1806. Now, his headstone says he was 19 years old, so that means he was born in 1787. Joseph Bogle, 1759 to 1811. And here's a picture of his military headstone. He served with the Pennsylvania militia during the Revolutionary War also. Now we have, next three is Joseph Bogle. So the first Joseph Bogle was born in 1757, passed away in 1811. Then the other Joseph Bogle is 1778 and passed away in 1853. And then we have Joseph Bogle Sr., 1730 to 1790, and he was born in Scotland. And this is a picture of his military headstone. He also fought in the American Revolution. Next we have Mary Glass Bogle, 1786 to 1836. Mary Bogle McTeer, 1785 to 1866. Matthew Houston Bogle, 1791 to 1847. Samuel Bogle, 1765 to 1853. Now he began his military service in 1805 at Sanders Fork Militia District in Wilson County, Tennessee, and he was a captain in Leach's militia company. Next we have Samuel Bogle, 1786 to 1833. Donald George Bowling, 1937 to 1994, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. Then we have John Boyd Sr., 1745 to 1838, and he served in the Pennsylvania line during the American Revolution. Next we have Harold D. Birch, 1927 to 1945, and he served as a private in the 26th Marines of the 5th Marine Division during World War II. And here's a photo of him. Then we have Chester F. Claiborne, 1938 to 2013, and he was a captain in the U.S. Air Force. Then we have Ellen B. Black Cox, 1839 to 1898, and her husband, Hugh Cox, 1838 to 1905. And according to Find a Grave, he was a veteran of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. And here's a picture of them around 1890. And this is a photo of both of their monuments. Next we have James Black Cox, 1931 to 2014, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Army. Then Andrew J. Cresswell, 1757 to 1838, and he served as a private in Company L of Campbell's Virginia Regiment during the Revolutionary War. He was involved in the Battle of Kings Mountain and Guilford Courthouse. He and his wife were charter members of the Eusebia Presbyterian Church, and he was an elder and worker in this church for many, many years. Then we have Dorothy Evans Cresswell, 1757 to 1832. Elizabeth McMurray Cresswell, 1781 to 1845. Samuel Evans Cresswell, 1792 to 1859, and he served as a private in the Tennessee militia during the War of 1812. Next, we have William Alexander Creswell, 1904 to 1974, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Army. Then we have William Evans Creswell, 1781 to 1852, William V., or also known as W.V. Cumming, 1839 to 1869, and he served as a lieutenant in the 3rd Tennessee Cavalry during the Civil War. Then we have James Alden Cunningham, also known as Al, 1919 to 2006. He served as a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II. Then we have Oliver Wade Cunningham, 1932 to 2007, and he served in the U.S. Air Force during the Korean War. Now we have John Cusack, 1744 to 1816, and he was in severe sharpshooters during the American Revolutionary. Next, we have Peter Park Davis, 1795 to 1883, William M. Davis, 1828 to 1897, and this is the Davis family cabin that was relocated and restored in the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center in Townsend, Tennessee. Isn't that cool? Now we have Andrew Cusack DeLozer, 1914 to 1971. He served as a private in the U.S. Army during World War II. Then Diana Thompson DeLozer, 1793 to 1851. Edward Davis DeLozer, 1907 to 1983. He served as a corporal in the U.S. Army during World War II. James Wiley DeLozer Sr., 1842 to 1896, and according to our source, he fought in the Civil War, but we do not know which side. Then there's Jesse Campbell DeLozer Jr., 1824 to 1894, and here's a picture of him. We also have Jesse's father, Jesse Campbell, or they called him Jassy DeLozer Sr., 1789 to 1853. John Buell DeLozer, 1909 to 1980. He served as corporal in the U.S. Army during World War II. And we think this is a photo of him and his wife, Mary. And then we have James Curtis Denny, 1931 to 2003. He fought for the U.S. Army during the Korean War. Elizabeth Betsy Dole Donaldson, 1776 to 1856. Then William Donaldson Jr., 1799 to 1855. And we also have his father, William Donaldson Sr., 1773 to 1836. We've got a lot of first settlers here, too. Now, according to Find a Grave, he fought in the War of 1812. Next, we have Elizabeth Jane, also known as Betty Kirby Drennan, 1858 to 1887. Her marker has 1856 as her year of birth, but according to our source that we found, that their family Bible records has it as 1858. The inscription says, "The golden gates were wide open. A gentle voice said, 'Come,' and angels from other side welcomed our mother home." That's pretty. Next, we have James Dunlap, no birth year, passed away in 1839. The inscription on his stone says he was 74 years old when he died, So that would mean he was born in 1765. Then we have Merrill J. Dunlap, 1924 to 2007, and he served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Then we have Samuel P. Dunlap, 1838 to 1918. He served in Company A of the 3rd Tennessee Cavalry during the Civil War. This is a photo of his enlistment papers. And this is his prisoner of war record. It states he was captured in Athens, Alabama in 1861. At the end of the war in 1865, he was released in Vicksburg, Mississippi. He survived the Sultana Riverboat disaster, and it was transporting former Union POWs. Now, this is a photo of him that may have been taken after the war. And this picture was taken of him in later years, in his latter years. Next, we have Ernest E. England, 1923 to 1998. And he served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Then we have Robert Finley, 1745 to 1821, and he was a veteran of the Revolutionary War. See, I told you, we've got a lot of soldiers in here. Lots and lots of history. Then we have James Earl Ford, 1935 to 2020, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Army. Alexander Breckinridge Gamble, 1787 to 1867. Elizabeth Ransbarger Gamble, 1794 to 1866. Josias Gamble, 1760 to 1823, and he served as a private in the Virginia militia during the American Revolution. And for the last one in this video series, we got Vernell Lawson Garrison, 1889 to 1965. And he served in the U.S. Army as a private in Company A of the 49th Infantry Division during World War I. Now, we're going to stop there and let this be our first series of this video. It's still the Smoky Mountains. It's just, instead of Sevier County, we're in Blount County. And like I've said numerous times during this video, this is such rich history. And all you ancestry hunters out there, you need to grab a hold of this one. We will come back next week with the next part of this series of this one particular cemetery. So be sure and join us. Share, like, subscribe, and we will see you next week with part 2. Thanks for watching.